There's this incredible academic named David Acker, and he studied brands for years and years, and he took thousands of brands and he distilled them. He realized that there was like 5 core categories of brand personalities, because again, this is what you're trying to convey, right? Is a personality. You want someone to look at what you have, your website or your products or your photography or your any of that stuff, your offers, and understand sort of what the vibe is, for lack of a better term. So here they are. Here's what he distilled them to. So we've got sincerity, excitement, competence, sophistication, and ruggedness. So under sincerity, things like down to earth, honest, wholesome, cheerful. Under excitement, daring, spirited, innovative. Competence, we've got reliable, intelligent, successful. Sophistication, upper class, charming. Ruggedness, outdoorsy, tough. You can have a little bit of an overlap, but you want one through line. You want like kind of an umbrella idea of how you want to start and what kind of, persona you want to portray. Again, this will be, if you're a personal brand, it'll be innate to you, and then you put that on your business if it's a hybrid brand. But even if it's not, and you're just building a business, like just a business brand, look at this stuff and decide what you want to portray. So under sincerity, an example is like Cheerios. It's wholesome. It's like, or Quaker Oats. We see sincerity a lot in the food space. For a personal brand under sincerity, I'd put like Oprah. You just get this vibe that she's super honest and real. And so that's one avenue. Like sometimes I'll work with the brand who is a parent and they've got kids. So like that's a big sincerity thing. You're putting your kids in stuff. You're taking pictures at the sunset, and you're talking about your raw emotions when it comes up. That's sort of under sincerity. Excitement, I would put as like Red Bull. We're talking about brands that show a lot of outdoorsiness, or that could actually be under ruggedness. But like excitement would be outdoorsy, but like scary too. People jumping out of planes, or just this very sort of spirited is right here. Young, cool, imaginative, up to date. We've got a little bit of that in Joe Malone. I'd say they're mostly under sophistication, but we might see that on the personal brand level. I actually think Richard Branson, he's all about like, I think I was watching Instagram the other day, and Virgin Airlines was celebrating their 40th anniversary or something, and they pop champagne and then he walks into the pool. He's like this older guy, he's in his like 60s or 70s. He walked into the pool and then get some of the employees to like jump in the pool too. He's got like a young, spirited vibe. So similarly, if it's just a business brand that you're building too, that's what you'd want to have if you were under the excitement, the kind of rush, the daringness, right? Hopefully you understand what I'm saying. So the third one here is competence. For me, that means like a lot of banks. Like you wouldn't want an exciting bank. That wouldn't ride well. So as you build your business, you have to also look at like, what's the market like? Because not everything will be fit. Not everything will fit. You can come into like a red ocean where there's all this competition, and you could come in with a different brand and really shake it up and attract a different kind of market, because again, we're looking for like that synergy, right? We're looking for people who have these beliefs as well, who will see your stuff and also have those beliefs, and then you'll mesh together. But there are some stuff where you do not want to do that. Like we get a little bit of excitement in the banking space now with a lot of online banks, whether it's Tangerine and EQ and things like that, maybe Wealthsimple. But ultimately, like they can't go too much out of competence, the reliability, the intelligence, successful, or it's just going to get bad. Same with a lot of tech companies, a lot of AI softwares. They have to stay within competence or people will lose trust, right? So be out there and try something new, but don't veer so far away that it's going to be really strange. Similarly, for like a personal brand, if you truly are under competence and you're like wearing a suit all the time and you're just, being very corporate and technical, fine, but know that's who you're going to attract to. So just something to think about. Fourth is sophistication, talking about upper class, glamorous, charming, feminine, smooth, things like Louis Vuitton and Gucci. That'd be under sophistication. Tiffany's. For a personal brand, under sophistication, I'd put like, Anna Wintour, the editor-in-chief of Vogue magazine. She's very posh, that is, or Posh Spice, I guess, under sophistication. Married to, I'd say, someone under ruggedness. Her husband, the football player, who I'm blanking on his name right now, so I shouldn't have even brought it up, but you probably know who I'm talking about. So sophistication is another option. It works great for products. It works great for products that are going to be expensive. It also works great for personal brands that want to be attached to products that are expensive, where you want to have a hybrid brand on your own brand that's very sophisticated. I think about some of the things that the Kardashians do and their companies. Like, we watched Kylie Jenner's makeup line. She became one of the youngest billionaires faster than ever, and that's because she had a personal brand built on sophistication, and then she launched a product built on sophistication, and then it just like up levels. All of that brand trust and understanding is already built, so she doesn't need to like work really that hard to sell it. So the more you understand this for yourself, the easier it'll be to like get into any business possible, and the more you understand this, even if it's just the business, the easier it's going to be to just sell fast. The last one is ruggedness, outdoorsy, glamorous, talking about REI and Mac and like those kind of companies, the North Face, Patagonia, all of that from a product perspective. Cars, Ford is big on the ruggedness front. And for personal brands, I'd say, do I have anybody in mind? Like, look at I wrote Tom Cruise. I feel like, he's kind of rugged, like he's jumping out of airplanes. I mean, that's kind of excitement too. He falls somewhere between excitement and rugged, but you could probably think of like a cowboy kind of vibe, just someone who's very outdoorsy. So if that's you, lean into that, have all your stuff be that, build your services on that, build your products on that, all of that. We are, again, looking for that relationship because it's easier as the entrepreneur or the person building the business to just do what you like already and who you are already, and then translate that to your products, okay? So from action steps on this, make a list of both customer values and brand values. What are you for and what are you against? This is part of like, it's half market research, half brand building. Expand your value. The emotional value is stronger than the utility value. So you've got to get really clear on what is the emotional value of the products, what's the emotional value of the services, what's the emotional value of you. Like, what are you doing for people through buying this product? Because they're not just getting the product. They want an emotional feeling. Again, back to Starbucks. I go and buy my Starbucks to feel the way they want me to feel, which is connected, loved, supported, included. And then I get that every time I go, even if I don't even stay and sit there, right? Because the brand is just so permeated inside. So don't just focus on like, this is what you get and this is all the stuff. And this is, it's kind of like at the agency, if I were to say, we'll shoot on 4K. I mean, I tell people that, but like, we shoot on 4K and we'll have all this equipment and these are all the people that are going to come. Yes, but that's not actually what's going to sell them. What's really going to sell them is how they'll feel once they have the video or how they feel making the video. Like, I've got one of my packages where we'll do full craft service, right? Order lunch, breakfast, dinner. We've even done shoots where we're picking people up in limos. That they're paying more for that because it's more expensive, but also they're paying more for it because they're like, I want to feel fancy. So list out what people will feel or what you want them to feel. Don't limit yourself on how they feel now about your product because, you might just get stuck. Go with how you want them to feel about the business, the product, the service, and then use that. Decide, so I wrote that, decide how you want people to feel. Develop the tone of voice. So you can create copy and headlines, so copywriting, which is your writing, and headlines that not just anyone could think of. So the tone of voice is about taking these personalities and writing down a paragraph about how you talk. How. So, for instance, someone like Tiffany's might say, everything we do sounds soft and smooth. Everything we say sounds delicate and expensive and luxurious. We use words like pristine, and we never talk about going on sale. That'd be an example of a brand voice, right? Another example, like as a personal brand, if, like, let's say the business is being built off of you, because I mean, I have experience with both, I have to ask myself, like, where do I fit? And if I had a brand tone of voice, it's like, I like empowering people. So I like to say stuff about how, like, I try to talk in a way that feels real understandable, relatable. I don't swear too much. Sometimes I do, but it's not like I'm Gary Vee and I'm swearing all the time. So those things are part of your brand tone of voice, okay? And then that will come together and help you understand more about who you're trying to attract and what will attract them and what they need to see and hear and read in order to buy from you. Because again, you're not just selling products, you are selling feelings, you are selling this story. Okay, so create a mood board with images that reflect the feeling you want people to have when they interact and buy from you. This builds your creative direction and references and can be referenced by yourself and others, as I wrote here, for how content should look and feel, because you might work with a photographer, or you might shoot a video, or you might make a website, right? And so this will help anyone else and you have an understanding about what exactly should be on this site and what it should look like. So this was a mood board that I made for this watch company. We talked about how we wanted it to feel entrepreneurial and space agey and sort of, just next level and creative and outdoorsy. We came up with a bunch of different things. And then this was under sophistication though still. And then we just pulled a bunch of images together to kind of portray the color palette and how, who might this person be? Who is this person? What car would they drive? If they're listening to music, what would they listen on? This is one of the most expensive sound systems ever, called the Macintosh receiver. So I put a whiskey, they're listening to this Al Green record. They have this incredible house in the woods. They watch the space launches, and maybe they like Elon Musk. This is before Elon Musk did some of the stuff that he's doing now. So do not judge me for him being there. But the idea is, this is the kind of guy, and like The Rock, like that we want to buy the product. He's romantic and he's outdoorsy and he has a Tesla and he cares about the environment and he's rich. So that's how you create something unique while also being on brand, or really figuring out what it means to be on brand. And the way I come up with this is, because I know everyone's at a different place, I literally just go on Google and I start typing in words, just like typing in words that I like, that come to mind. I think about the product and I think about the person if I'm branding them, and I just think, like, let's say outdoors. So I type in outdoors and I just see what is kind of interesting, or you type in a color, or again, you think of a car and then you find that car, or you type in love, you type in self-care, you type in limitless power, and you just see what comes up, and then you draw, and then you just go. And that's part of the creative process, right? The creative process is like allowing yourself to be free flowing in your ideas, and allowing yourself to like feel something inside and then do it on the outside, right? Like, just say, like, I'm drawn to this picture and I'm just going to pull it. There's no right or wrong here. There's just like figuring it out as you go. Okay.